Who are the persons of the second generation of the Bose family to swallow this story?
And see, Nehru could not take Sharad Bose, Suresh Bose or Sunil Bose into the loop. None could be purchased. Actually, you see, the first story was published in India by Sean Margo in 1949 when Sharad Babu was living, and that publication was from Benares. And see, the publication was not from Calcutta. That means news came to Benares, not to Calcutta. If Bose is really married, where the news will come first? From where the publication should be first? First query. Second, now all the declassified files, if you see the declassified files, you will be astonished to see that Emily sent letters, that so-called letters of 10 line Bengali letter, supposed to be written by, as told by the story, by Netaji, kept by Emily, very secretly kept, and they are telling it was sent by Emily for Sharad Bose through two persons, two Indians who was in Germany after the end of the war. And you see, these two persons who came to India did not bring the letters to Sharad Bose. The two letters went to Nehru. Why? Why to Nehru? Why not to Sharad Bose? What is the mystery? And Emily is telling, as per the volumes published, Emily wanted these two Indians to take these two letters to Sharad Bose in Calcutta. But instead, they went to Delhi to give these letters to Nehru. Is it a fact that these two Indians violated the advice of Emily? Moreover, in this text of these 10 lines in Bengali, there is no name of any lady. There is no mention of any name of the girl. And Emily did not know the Bengali language and cannot write or read Bengali. Which motive Netaji will write such a letter and to be kept preserved in the hand of Emily? And if you see, never Subhash Chandra Bose has written letter in Bengali to Sharad Chandra Bose. They are the queries. And also see, in this letter there is a mention of a girl. Actually, in 49 by Sean Margo, what was written? A mention of a boy. And moreover, you will see, so long Sharad Babu was alive, no one mentioned this story further. After the death of Sharad Bose in 1950, in 1951, again Sean Margo republished this story. And here you will see the boy had changed into girl, and the age of the girl is not 10 now, it is static, it was 8, now it is 8. This is a peculiarity. Also, you will see when Sharad Babu was alive, he got a letter from the chief of the forward block in UP, Ramgoti Ganguly. Ramgoti Ganguly, after seeing this publication of the Sean Margo in 1949, wrote about to know the opinion of Sharad Babu on this story. In response of which, Sharad Babu wrote a letter to Ramgoti Ganguly that this is a fake story, ignore all these things. This is the record also. And also you will see Suresh Babu in 1970, in his own handwriting, has written clearly, Emily Anita's story is a fake story, it is a creation of Nehru. Moreover, he has written there, Subhash Chandra, his brother, is still living a divine life for the mankind.
Lakshmi Swaminathan has told the plays about Emily and Anita for many times. Why?
He has told this story practically, if you look to the end of this last century, every year he was coming to Calcutta twice, thrice per year. If the moment she came, two stories were always being published in different journals, particularly ABP. One story in the Princess, on Princess, favoring Princess, as if he was the direct witness of the Princess, and also a marriage story, as if he was the witness, she was the witness of the marriage. That confidence, and that actually government and some interested persons always try to use some popular figures to popularize a story which is really a fake. If you want to popularize a fake story, you have to pick up some big person to and by being a lady of the Jhansi Vahini under INA, she is a big name, no doubt. But remember, so far my memory goes, the records of the archives of India, Swaminathan, Lokhi, is not an important lady. Basically, what I have seen, in no important cabinet meeting of Provisional Government of India, this Lokhi was present. Lokhi, I think Subhash Chandra was fit enough to know what the composition of this Lokhi cycle. Lokhi cycle, remember, just after the end of the war, when he was in Rangoon, he surrendered to the British. As per records, he was working for the British in Rangoon. And as per records, Lokhi was never arrested. He was always a free lady outside the prison. And she gave further informations on the heroes of the INA, different INA important persons to the British. And you see, after entering India, she first joined the CPI. The very CPI who called Subhash Chandra a traitor, who opposed INA, and the very CPI who patronized partition of India and patronized Pakistan. And that very lady Lokhi subsequently joined CPM. These communists have got a peculiar behavior throughout, always anti-Subhas, always anti-national. Moreover, I will tell you the basic character after the death of Lokhi Saigal. In one discussion in ABP, I was astonished to see Lokhi was initially married, she is a doctor, to a doctor. He was married to a doctor. He was separated from that doctor. Then she was living together with a lawyer during the Great War. After Subhash Bose came here, she joined the Jhansi. After Jhansi, you see, actually, I saw some papers in the archives where love letters of exchange between Lokhi and Prem Saigal being exchanged, and those letters are being brought up and down by the British officers and one scoundrel, the friend of the scoundrel Nehru, that Ali, who was also in the Congress working committee, a friend of Nehru, who was the husband of Aruna Ashok Ali. Ashok Ali is one of the persons who is exchanging his love letters. Prem Saigal in the prison cell and Lokhi. And remember, recently published volumes from the Bengal archives, police files, there a note is there about the behavior of Lokhi Saigal. Lokki Saigal tried to loop one of the brother-in-law of Subhash Bose. And when she failed, she was disgusted, she left Calcutta. This is the character of Emily Sankey. I can tell you, all the persons who are trying to popularize this story of this fake story, if you go to the basic character of these persons, very bad, very ugly characters, everyone.
Amartya Sen also has told of this marriage story in a press conference. Why?
The less I tell on Amartya Sen, better for all of you. This is the persons, I do not know how many wives she had. Last time, she married a girl of the American, that rich family, some Rockefeller, Rothschild, and the Rothschild son-in-law to get the Nobel Prize. And this man knew nothing about Subhash Chandra Bose. Maybe she knows something about economics, and to be a master of economics doesn't mean that he knows everything. Let him read first Subhash Chandra Bose. Actually, remember one thing, I tell you. In this world, everyone has got a limitations. To view an object or a subject, everyone has limitations. They see the object or the subject through the physical eyes, but basically interpretation is by his intellectual and spiritual level. If inside a man is very rotten, very downgraded spiritually, she cannot see a spiritual thing. Actually, if you the disciple of Sri Ramakrishna, that artist, that novelist, Ghosh, Girish Ghosh. Girish Ghosh, apparently in society, an alcoholic man. In those days, to pick up the heroines, one has to pick up the heroines from the red light area. Actually, in the society, he was known as a very bad man. But even that bad man has got a mind, has got a spiritual level to appreciate and recognize the greatness of Sri Ramakrishna. That is an exception. Girish Ghosh is an exception. And majority of us, if in front of me a great man is present, I cannot be in a position to tell his greatness. I cannot see the greatness. Greatness, recognition demands the precondition of being a great. These persons, no one is great, not even big. A man can be made big by popularity, by propaganda, but greatness is inherent from inside.
On this issue, whom you believe most?
Naturally, I believe the persons who have sacrificed in the study of this great man, Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, for 40, 50, 60 years, I believed him. Like Leela Rai, Sunil Das, Sunil Gupta, Vijay Nath, and most important, the documents. If there is a marriage, where is the documents? And moreover, I can tell you, whatever documents come out, you see, within 1950, when the Bose family, this third generation, is claiming there is relation established with the MLE with this Bose family, why this Bose family members is trying to search out the marriage certificate of Emily and birth certificate of of Anita from Vienna? If relation is established, why not directly they are getting this birth certificate and marriage certificate? Why they are engaging secretly their friends in Berlin and in Vienna to find out these certificates? Also, you see one file of the parliament which is declassified. There in 1953-54, in the parliament there is a parliament question to the PM, then PM, where one parliament is asking the Nehru that what is your information about the take of the Ghosh family members on this marriage issue. In response of which, Nehru is telling, I am in a difficult position to tell on this question, to answer to this question. That means up to that time, Nehru could not purchase any Ghosh family members in his line to support the marriage story. Subsequently, under different pressures, these third generation and second generation Ghosh members are in the line under situation, compulsions, under pressures. And you see, recently another photo is uploaded in your popular social media. I am telling you one thing. You go to that event. The government of India officially is telling Dr. Yosimi is the person who treated the wounded Subhash Bose in the last part. And it's the story there. Yosimi, as per records, in 1946 has given witnesses to different investigating bodies. In 2 times there are different 2 narrations. Each time he is telling that, but narrations are different. Again he is giving his statement to Shanghai Committee in 1956, then in 1970s to Khosla Commission, then to BBC, then to other journals, also to us, to the JMCA. Each time he is telling Subhash Bose is killed by the plane crash, but each time the narrations are changing. Similarly, here you say different times, different year of marriages and different phases of so-called evolution. Let us see another phase of so-called lady. Let faces come out, let the stories come out. They think by adding stories, they will confirm the story. Okay, let them confirm the story.